Good morning and welcome to Deefer Diving's YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time watching our content, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope that we're able to entertain you. If you've been here before, then thank you again for coming back and for enjoying our content last time, and I'm hoping that we're able to continue to inform and entertain you. Before I go on though, if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Tell us that you like it, and also leave any comments in the section below. If you want to see more of our content, then feel free to hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified of any new content that we have coming up. So today I want to talk to you again about BCDs. We've had a video on our channel before about the different types of BCD, but today I wanted to talk to you about the backplate and wing setup that I switched to last year and why I switched to it. Now, there are many videos out there which talk about BCD configurations, talk about what are your options that are out there and what are the different types of BCD that are out there, but there are very few people out there who have said why this configuration works, why I chose it, why it's an evolutionary next step, and more important, why more and more people are switching to them as time goes by. So a quick disclaimer here, I don't believe there's a perfect diving system. I really don't. I think that every configuration of a tank, a bag and some weight has some compromises. Regardless of where you put them, there's always some compromise, and it's about the structure and the setup trying to address the application that you're looking to try to use it for now. And so in that regard, a structure or a setup or a rig that may work for you if you are recreational diving, if you're teaching, if you're rec diving, may not work for every single environment. And so it's about finding the system that works for you and has the least compromises, if that makes sense. Now, I'm sure that most of us would have learned to dive in a jacket style BCD. We enjoyed the reassuring hug that it gave us, both underwater and at the surface. The advantages of a modern jacket style is that they're robust, they're comfortable, lots and lots of pockets for storage, and they hold us upright at the surface. Really safe, nice for that purpose. But that upright orientation is designed, it's a feature, it's designed into them from the start. And so typically they'll try and hold you in a more upright orientation in the water too. Now, there are modern patterns and air cells that are designed to be a hybrid of a back inflate and a jacket style. So they'll hold you in different orientations and air won't leak into certain passages and parts until this bladder is full. And they're great, they're really great, but they're hybrids. So for me personally, after diving for a while in a jacket style BCD, I wanted something that would hold me more easily in that very horizontal position in the water, and so I switched to a back inflate style BCD. My original choice, the Oceanic Highlander 2. I love that BCD to start with. It held me a lot more in a horizontal position in the water. It reduced the amount of clutter I felt around the front of me. It didn't squeeze me too much when I fully inflated the BCD, but it was a pain on the surface. So if I had to wait for any length of time, I found I tended to swim away from the group as I'm constantly throwing my shoulders backwards and swimming away. I switched later to other back inflate BCDs, including the Aqualung Black Diamond and eventually the Ziegel Ranger. All good BCDs, don't get me wrong, really good BCDs, and they gave a real good balance between horizontal position in the water and upright position on the surface, particularly the Ziegel. Dived with that for the best part of 10 years. I was aware though, diving with the back inflate BCDs, that I would get quite a lot of roll in the rig, and this was particularly noticeable when teaching a rescue diver class. As a student would inflate my BCD fully on the surface, and almost immediately I would roll over one way or the other. Then it was hilarious for me as I watched the student try to deal with that new problem. But I'd also feel it underwater. If I turned to see what was going on behind me, the air would move in the air cell, and I would feel that I had to fight it to get it back round, and it wasn't a natural, easy movement sometimes. So if we go back in history, what we can see is that there were really two technologies that came out back in the 1970s, jacket style and wing style BCDs, and the back inflate that we have now is kind of a hybrid of those two, trying to take the best bits from the jacket and meld them with the best bits of a wing. Now, as we know anything about hybrids, they're a compromise. Just ask any Prius driver. They have some real benefits to them, but they don't necessarily address all of the issues. I'd had a look at the emergence of the popularity of backplate and wing designs in recreational divers, and I'll be honest, I dismissed them constantly when people would talk to me about it. Being not my thing. They looked uncomfortable. They were expensive for what I thought they were. They looked unwieldy and really impractical in a professional capacity. Not going to happen until last year. I was given an old backplate and wing just to try, see what I thought. And I committed to giving it 20 dives. I was going to give it 20 dives, give it a go, configure it, make sure I'm comfortable with it, and then make a choice from there. And so I tried to get to grips with it. Now, things that I knew before I tried this BCD on, before I tried this configuration on, I knew that my back was going to be sore. Having that hard metal plate against my back, constantly banging, it was going to be uncomfortable. I knew that it was going to force me face down on the surface, and so I'd have to fight it constantly on the surface. I knew I wasn't going to have anywhere to put all my stuff, where, you know, all these big pockets that I've got my SMB and my reel and my knife and my torch. Where am I going to put all of that? I knew it was going to be awful. I knew it was also going to be really heavy. So, after about half a dozen dives, I will admit, I put my hand up and I was wrong. I was wrong. I was skeptical, but it's good sometimes to have a bit of skepticism. And so, here are my thoughts. The unit I'm now diving with as my daily diver has a 3mm backplate. It's steel, weighs about 5 pounds. Why is that an advantage to me? Well, 5 pounds of the weight that I need to carry is now evenly distributed over my entire back, which makes my buoyancy control, my trim positioning in the water so much easier. But I only dive with 7 to 8 pounds usually anyway, so it means I only need to take another 2 pounds of weight to be able to comfortably dive. So that weighting doesn't really affect my trim at all in the water. I just strap it onto my tank band and away I go. I'd also said the backplate was going to be really hard and uncomfortable against my back. No, it wasn't. The straps I can put where I want them to be and tighten them up how I want to tighten them up, so that that plate is firmly against my back. It doesn't roll, it doesn't move, and actually in the water you don't notice it. I really don't notice that it's there. What about the pockets? It's got no, my one's got no pockets on it. And where am I going to put all my gear? Well, the first question I had to ask myself is, what gear do I need? And then when I start to say, okay, I need a reel, I need an SMB, I need a whistle, I need a knife, and I'd like to be able to have a torch. Those 5 things. And so I have bungee on the BCD to attach my SMB. I have clips to attach the reel. My knife goes on a little loop with bungee, and my torch I put in a pocket if I need it. If I want to take a stage bottle or a pony or maybe even a lionfish zookeeper, I can put a couple of D-rings on and just attach that to the D-rings. But most importantly, it's configurable, completely configurable to how I want to dive. So I guess I kind of liked it. And then I got used to it. And then I decided I didn't like it. And then I realized that I can adjust it and make it fit me. And so by pulling this here and adjusting that there and tweaking that there, it meant that it was comfortable. And this is the bit that I find really important with this type of configuration. It's your system, my system, your system, and it's designed to fit you, or me, or you, or you. It's not a BCD that's in a medium or a large and you buy the one that's the closest to you. You adjust it so that it fits you. What do I mean by that? Well, you find that the belt's too high, so you adjust the routing and move the belt down, or the straps are too close together. Again, you adjust the routing and move them around. The clips aren't in the right place, it sits too low, then you adjust it. You find perhaps when you're diving that you're still hips down in the water, so you attach bungee around the top of the air cell to squeeze the top of the air cell, push air into the bottom. That'll lift up the bottom. You want to try technical diving, put a bigger air cell on. You want to switch to a CCR that somebody else has been diving. Easy. Undo 2 thumb bolts and attach your backplate and harness to the CCR, or to a technical rig, or to a twin set, and it's now perfectly set up for you. It's your gear. You've literally just attached your backplate to it, and it's your gear. And that, for me, where I do dive twin sets, where I do dive rebreather, where I do dive recreational back mount, just being able to unclip it, put it on a different rig, and now it's set up for me with my accessories, with my SMBs still here, with my whistle still here, with my knife on my shoulder. I know where everything is. It's mine. If I want to travel and reduce the bulk, I can take the wing off and just travel with the plate and harness, and rent a wing when I get to the other end. As I said, it's my system, it fits me, and I don't need to compromise with that. There is a downside, however. You have to get used to it first, which means you have to invest a little bit of time with it in the water. You have to start thinking critically about how you dive, and start thinking critically about how your rig fits on you and how you might need to change it. Now, some people are not happy investing this amount of time because they just want to throw a rig on and go, and in which case, awesome. Backplate is not for you. Go take a jacket, go take an off-the-shelf BCD. But if you are happily to invest that time, you will be rewarded just in the same way as I have, by being able to configure and personalize the rig so that it fits me. Can you say that about the latest Scuba Pro Go or the Atomic BC1? You tell me. The donut wing that I dive with is a 40-pound wing, and it holds me perfectly horizontally in the water. Why? Because it sits directly above the middle of my back and directly above the back plate, above the weight. It also holds me perfectly vertically in the water when I'm at the surface, by virtue of the proximity of the ASL to the weight. There's no difference, and so it just holds me there. It's lightweight when I compare it to my Seagull Ranger. It's hard wearing, it's minimalist, it's mine. That rig won't fit anybody else without a lot of work to get it to fit them. So it's mine, it's my rig. That said, as I've already said, it has its limitations. It's not perfect. No, it's not. If I'm teaching, particularly open water, then I'll use a jacket style BCD. Demonstrating skills in a jacket style BCD is easier than demonstrating skills in a backplate and wing. That doesn't mean it's not possible to demonstrate skills in a backplate and wing, but if I'm wanting a student who's in a jacket style BCD to be able to follow me in the same way with their BCD as I'm with mine, then it's better for me to be in the same configuration and rig as them. So when I'm teaching, I will be in a backplate and wing. Do that every time. I hope you've enjoyed this personal journey on why I like my backplate and wing, and why I've switched to it as my go-to de facto scuba diving rig. But what are your thoughts? Do you have a favorite BCD? Do you have a favorite configuration? What's your experience been about trying different types of configuration? Leave your thoughts and your comments in the sections below, and I'll try and respond to every single one. Don't forget, give the video a thumbs up if you've liked it, and splash down on the subscribe button if you'd like to subscribe to our channel and see more of our content. Until the next time, stay wet, keep diving.